done about all I can do till I get the hydraulic lines made. Unfortunately, I had a business guy who has a hydraulic business, but the problem is he's not there. This card he gave me was his personal number, and somehow I lost it. So at this point, I'm pretty much done until I can get 2 hydraulic lines made. And I'm gonna need to get some airlines, so it's definitely not gonna be working on Monday as of right now, unfortunately. So I got the 2 hydraulic lines off. The good thing is they're just short lines and they just go to right here. But that definitely needs to be tightened. That's not supposed to be moving like that. That one's solid. So the hydraulic line just goes up and ties to that, and that one just goes up and ties to that. So not a big deal. I'll show you guys basically the best I could do, you know, with what I got. So I basically cut these 2 brackets, cut holes in them, put the shim in the center, welded them front and back, inside and out as best as I could. And then I just welded the 2 plates to that, basically sandwiched it. And that's welded on the bottom of that too, right along there. You can't really see it, but it's welded that way. And I cannot get in that to weld that backside. There's no way I can weld that. I don't have the skill to do that. I'll be honest. I do not have the skill for that. So, at least not with a stick welder, you know. I tried bending the rods. Freaking, the flux just falls right off of it. You know, it just doesn't work as good as, you know, you think it will. I mean, you can see. It just, you try and bend it a little bit and it just breaks off. But I'm pretty sure it's good enough to where it's not going to break again. You know, at least I think it is. I mean, only time will tell, right? So, driver's gonna have to keep an eye on those. Make sure debris don't get in there and, you know, strain it any more than it already needs to be. So it's basically back together. One of the crappy parts that I did not foresee was when I was welding that up in there, some slag came down here and freaking melted these 2 air lines. They kind of caught fire, which I did not know. You know, 2 small air lines, no big deal. And it literally burned all the way up into here. You can see the end of the airline is way back here. So, so that airline's toast. And for some reason, I can only find one. They go to the air mud flap. So, luckily, it's not a major thing. So that's definitely going to have to be fixed ASAP. Same with these. I'm going to fix those too at the same time. But the main thing is, I think once I get the 2 hydraulic lines made and put on there, then I should be able to theoretically raise the strong arm, raise the bed, replace the air lines. At least that's kind of how I'm thinking I'm going to do it in my head. Moving that cylinder in position to there was a pain in the butt. I had to use that jack in between that and there and jack it apart, basically, because it just doesn't slide on it. You know, it doesn't slide very easily. And when it does slide, fluid comes out of that bottom pipe right there, the return line. That was not fun. I'm hoping, and I don't know if this is, you know, the case or not, but I'm hoping that the hydraulic and the nitrogen sides of that cylinder are separated somehow. That way I don't have to recharge the nitrogen system. I mean, that's what I'm really praying. Yeah, I mean, I might have been able to do that, Blake. I might have. But I mean, it wasn't really that bad. I mean, it was sucky, but it wasn't that bad. I had that come along right there, up there to the eye loop, holding it up, and then I had the jack, you know, spreading it that way. And then once it got lined up, you know, I had the pin in the freezer too. You know, I don't know. You guys probably don't know how much that can help. You know, just that little bit, it helps. You know. So, doing these kind of repairs out in the woods where you literally have nothing, you know, except for a freaking 40-year-old crappy generator welder, you know, that doesn't even work properly, you know, that thing, it paid for itself. I'll be honest, it paid for itself. But man, I'll tell you what, I'm not too happy with the way it's been working lately. Once it blew the head, it's not been the same machine as when I bought it for welding wise. I welded up that whole tailgate and it was great the whole time. But I think I just put too much strain on it when I welded that tailgate up. And, you know, the head went, and then I put a new head gasket on it. And you seen the head was eating away a little bit, so I put the JB weld on there. But the machine does okay when it's cold, but as soon as it starts to really reach temperatures, it's like the voltage drops considerably. Like when you start the arc, and then it just kind of dwindles, like the capacitor is not holding the amount of voltage it needs or something. I don't know. I'm not a mechanic like that, so I don't know. But it's frustrating, to say the least. Very, very frustrating. Once you get electric out there, you should look into a Omni Pro 220. That thing has been a lifesaver. Got to be a jack of all trades in the dump truck owner game. Amen to that, Blake. Amen to that. Jack of all trades, master of none. So, what's the Omni Pro 220? See, I got electricity out here. I just don't have the right plug-in. I need to talk to my electrician buddy. That's how I cut the bracket. I just used that. Man, that torch has been a lifesaver too, because I can't use my plasma cutter out here because I don't have enough electricity. It's a welder, but it does MIG, TIG, and stick. Dang. I mean, I got the perfect welder. I just need a plug-in to plug it into. You know what I mean? I need a 50 amp circuit, which, you know, this is 320. I got 320 out here. Problem is all I got is regular outlets on my, this is called a, what's it called? It's basically a, it's not portable, what is it called? Temporary. It's a temporary panel. Temporary. You know, so we just got some GFIs. That's it. You know, but service right there. 320. See that? 320. So I got the power. I just don't have the plug-in yet. And I may have to make a plug-in for this thing. And then just put it on one of the sides or something. And then, you know, just wheel my welder all the way up here when I need to do stuff. Yep. So that's all I can do for this weekend because the hydraulic shop ain't open. And I called them. There's no response. And my wife just went to check it at the shop to see if there was like a cell phone on the door or something for after hours. And, you know, of course there isn't. So, out of luck. So now it's time to go take a shower and enjoy the rest of my weekend. You know. You're gonna have to get one of those 210 to 220 outlet adapters. Yeah, I don't know if it works quite like that, Blake. I don't think I've ever heard of one of those. Okay, so here's one of the suckiest things that happened to me when I was doing this. Right? So I put the pin up there, right? And I had the sleeve on there, and I had the two plates just sitting up there, right? I tack welded everything, right? Pulled it off, pulled the pin out, pulled it off, welded it all up, right? And then I put it back on there, put the pin back in, right? So it would be 100% lined up. And then I started welding it, and I should have pulled the pin out, but I didn't. So I kept welding it, and the pin was in there, la-di-da-di-da, everything's all finished welding. Then I couldn't get the pin out, right? So then I'm thinking, okay, how do I get this stupid pin out? Because I froze the pin to get it in, right? And now the pin's all heated up, so it's not coming out. Like, I literally was trying to think of every possible way to get that pin out. And the only thing that I had that worked was the U-joint puller. You guys are going to crack up on this one. I had to use the U-joint puller to get the pin out once I had already welded it. Now let me show you how I did that. Because that was thinking outside of the box. Okay, let me show you how I did this. Because I'm kind of proud of myself on this one for thinking outside of the box on how to get this pin out. Because there's like, I don't know what a porta power is. So the first time I did it, here's the bolt. You can see it's kind of bent, right? Because all I did was take one of these washers. I had one of these washers, and I had this threaded in there, right? Just like that. And then I used the U-joint puller to pull the bolt out. And it didn't work. All it did was bend the washer. Bend the washer, and then it kind of slipped off. So then I took all these extra washers, and that allowed me to get a little more movement. Let me show you how I did this to get this pin out. It was a nightmare. Let me get this threaded in here first. Come on, just thread in already. Okay. So I had that threaded in there, right? Then I took this and I basically had it like that to pull it out. And the pulley puller, or this U-joint puller, barely worked because it was barely on these two edges. You can see where it kind of cut into it a little bit. Right there. And up here. It was just barely sitting in there. And so I would tighten it up. And then I would take and tap on this other side. Right up here. I was just tapping on it. And then finally it broke loose. But it was a nightmare. I was probably working on just that for about an hour and a half. Trying to get that stupid pin out after I welded the eye on there. I was like, how does this get stuck on? And I knew it was going to happen too, because I told myself, just tack weld it and then pull the pin out. That way you don't even have to screw around with trying to get it out afterwards. And then I was like, and then for some reason I just spaced and I just kept welding. And then by then it was, you know, I tried to pull it out and it wasn't coming out. I'm like, well, might as well finish welding the whole thing up. And then it really wasn't coming out. I was ready to, you know, shoot myself in the head for that one, because it was not fun. Let me just put it that way. It was not fun at all. But got it off. So now basically I just need to get 2 hoses made, you know. Those 2 hoses I'm actually probably going to get 2 extra ones made also. Just in case, you know, that way I have a spare for this other side, because this other side's gotten kind of chewed up too, but luckily I noticed it soon enough to put this on. You know, so it's not been getting chewed up because I've had that on there. This side wasn't the bad side. The other side was a lot worse. For some reason or another, it was just really chewing into it more. So that's where I'm at. What do you guys think? Is that crazy, Blake? I had to use that U-joint puller. I couldn't think of any way to get that stupid thing out. I was thinking of using that tool right there, right? Putting 2 bolts in and putting nuts on to hold it away from it, and then tightening the bolt down, which would pull the pin out. But that bolt wouldn't fit in that, you know, and it just seems like the only way I had to get it out. So, man, you got to have extreme determination, you know. If you want to be a dump truck owner and you have to fix things, you literally have to have extreme determination. So this job, you know, if I would have paid a shop, I don't see it being less than, you know, I honestly don't. Here's the other washer. Got super bent. I don't see this job being less than, you know, it's probably like $1,500, $2,000 job, right? But it's one of those things where they'll be like, it'll take them all week to do it, you know, or at least 3 days. They'll tell you 3 days, and then it'll probably end up being a week to do it, you know. So, you know, you got $1,500 plus $1,000 a day. So you're basically out $5 or $6 grand for just that repair. You know, luckily I got it most of the way back together. All I need is the hoses, I think. Brandon might be able to go to work, have a late start on Monday, and we may just have a late start on Monday, and he, you know, going a little late and get things done. So I'm hoping that's the case, and that's how we make it work. But we'll have to wait and see. So, anyways, what are you guys' thoughts? That's what I would have done. That or use a car scissor jack. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I just couldn't figure out. I guess a car scissor jack could have worked from the backside and then put like a socket or something on it. Something that was 2 inches. And then you jack it up and it slowly pushes it out. That could have worked. I never thought of that. Pushing it from the other side. That could have worked. But yeah, it was just insane. So now, I think what I'm going to do to keep that pin in place is the pin is going to be attached to this, right? So I'm going to end up drilling a hole right in here, putting the bolt in through here into the pin, and then welding this back to it. That way the pin can't go anywhere because it'll be attached to this plate through the bolt, right? I mean, that seems like the best way to keep the pin from going anywhere is the pin will be attached to this. It wasn't attached last time, and that's probably why the pin fell out and the whole thing fell. I just don't understand why they didn't have one, you know, already like that. It makes sense to me, but whatever. It is what it is. So, anyways, guys, I just wanted to show you that and catch you up on the repair. You know, it basically took me half a day. So if it was just a regular day of the week, you know, where the parts stores were open and stuff, then I easily could have done this in, 6 hours, 7 hours. You know, and you gotta think, I made this happen out in the woods with a generator and a generator welder. And I didn't use an excavator. And all I used was a torch. So you don't have to own all these super, super expensive tools to make it happen. You know, you can get by with the lesser stuff, you know. Is the nice stuff nice? Yes, it's nice. But you don't need it. It's not 100%. You know. I'll tell you what, I was getting very, very upset at this truck though when I was trying to get that pin out. Like, I was to the point where I felt like my life was over. You guys ever feel like that? Where you have a problem that's so stupid and so like you feel like you almost want to just kill yourself just because of this one stupid problem. That's kind of how I felt. I was like, but then I was like, well, worst case scenario, I can't fix it myself and I just, drive it somewhere and they fix it. I just pay them the money. But in my head, that was not an option in my head. And I was just like getting so ticked. Like the pin was not coming out. It was like in there. And man, I'll tell you what. When you haven't eaten for a while and you're getting thirsty and you're sweating because you're welding everything and up, and it really puts some strain on your body. But we made it happen, so just got to get those 2 hydraulic hoses made, and bada boom, bada bing. I bet that thing will be ready to rock and roll once I get those 2 air lines done, and then that'll be it. So, anyways, guys, thanks for tuning in. And, you know, I tried to show you all the stuff I went through with this major repair. And hopefully you guys, you know, learn some stuff from the videos. And, you know, maybe it inspires you to do some repair yourself and, you know, just make it happen. Figure it out, you know. Nobody's going to do it but you, so might as well get. So basically the rest of my day is I'll be cleaning up all my stuff, taking a shower, and then I'm going over to a buddy's house and we're going to play some games, you know. Play some cards, do a game night or something, you know. Hopefully ease the stress a little bit. Easy peasy. All right, well, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Thanks for tuning in.